Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Quebec Caribou expansion MyLeague here on NBA 2K20. I believe this is episode 3, and we are now into the month of December of 2019. We are sitting at 12-2 on the season, and the power rankings are not quite as kind to us right now as they were earlier on in the season, which is obviously to be expected. Obviously, Whiteside went down, and also we are an expansion team, and we're just really not that good. Our record is not very reflective of how this roster should actually be in the standings once we get to the end of the season. We're just getting kind of a kind schedule earlier on because we've played a lot of kind of shitty teams to start the season. And we are about to head into a game against the Chicago Bulls, who are currently on a 3-game win streak, and they've scored 120 plus in all 3 of those wins. And in between the last game that I showed and now, Ty Jerome actually got hurt for us, so we went out and signed a backup point guard to come off the bench for us. We signed Milos Teodosic. I believe that's how you say that. Teodosic. It's probably just Teodosic, something like that. It's not a guaranteed deal. It's not like a guaranteed all year long deal, though. It's one of those, I think it was like a 2-way deal or something like that, because that's what he was interested in, so that's what I gave him. Essentially, I have to decide if I want to sign him for the rest of the year eventually, so I'll probably just release him once Ty Jerome is fully back, or whenever it prompts me to decide if I want to release him or sign him the rest of the season. Because essentially, I mean, yeah, he has more badges right now, and he's probably a better point guard right now than Ty Jerome is, but Ty Jerome has a pretty decent potential rating, and I would like to play the young guy, considering it doesn't really benefit us to play a guy who's not going to be back next season as a veteran, as it would to play the young guy and get him experience, at least I'm assuming. But Teodosic has played 3 games with us since Ty Jerome has gotten hurt. This will be his 4th game against the Bulls, and in his first game with us, he actually dropped 16 points on 11 shots, picked up a few assists as well, but since that game, he has only made 2 total shots, 1 in each of his next 2 games, but he has gotten a few assists off the bench in those games. He just hasn't really scored. So now let's hop in to the actual game. So another game at the Bell Center in Montreal as the Quebec Caribou playing host to the Chicago Bulls. And I did forget to show that, I'm not sure why, I'm not sure if it was some sort of load management thing or if he was just simply hurt, but Zach LaVine was not playing the 2 for them. It was Shaquille Harrison who started the 2. And speaking of him, he's going to pull up for 3 here and miss. Kenneth Faried grabs the board, just barely over Wendell Carter Jr., and then the transition 3 is going to be knocked down by Josh Hart, gives the Caribou a 2-point lead. Then Chris Dunn calls for a screen, pulls up from the mid-range, drains it, ties the game at 6. Now a Caribou possession, Yogi Ferrell finds Gallinari, he's going to miss the long 2, and then Chris Dunn's going in transition for the Bulls. He's going to lay it in with the left hand and gives his team a 2-point lead. So move things on a little bit later. 2-point lead still. Yogi Ferrell, he's going to hit a mid-range as the Bulls and Caribou just kind of trade back and forth for a bit. 8-8 here is Chris Dunn. He's going to put on some moves, gets a screen, and then hits a fadeaway mid-range, essentially over 3 Caribou defenders. And the Bulls would then explode as they take a bigger lead. Kobe White now in the game as the backups are in the game later on into the first quarter. And he's going to hit that floater over Teodosic. As Teodosic then is going to hit Grayson Allen, creates a little bit of space for Teodosic on the wing, and he's going to knock down the triple as it's now a 25-15 game. Move things about a little bit later. Teodosic tries to find the cutting Spellman, but it's going to be picked off by Thaddeus Young. He gives it up to Kobe White, and he's going to find the cutting Wendell Carter Jr., who throws it down to extend the lead for the Bulls. As then Teodosic tries to run the pick and roll again, this time to Jordan Bell, and it's going to be intercepted again. Satoransky on the fast break, right-handed layup, gets it to fall, as at the end of 1 quarter, the Chicago Bulls had a pretty significant lead over the Quebec Caribou. Score at the end of 1 is 34 Chicago, 21 Quebec. Move things on to the second quarter now as Vincent Poirier backing down a man in the post. He's going to hit him with a little hook shot, gets it to fall, the French hammer. I don't know if that's what they actually call him, but in this game he does the Marcin Gortat French Hammer, or the Polish Hammer celebration. So I'm just calling him the French Hammer, as he goes down on the other end and rejects a shot. And then in transition, here come the Caribou. Tadosic is stopped by Kobe White. He's going to swing it back to the top of the three-point line for Grayson Allen. Calls for a screen, and he's going to give it to Poirier. Goes to the rim. He gets fouled. He would make both free throws as the French Hammer is showing off. How about some more Poirier highlights, though, is they're going to swing it around to him in the low post, backing down Markkanen, as he's going to pull up for another hook shot. This time it doesn't go, but Spellman grabs the offensive board and throws it down right over Kobe White. Insane dunk for Amari Spellman there. So 8-point game. Shaquille Harrison is rejected by Michael Porter Jr. Look at the length on that man. So then Hart running the fast break, sees Yogi in the corner. Yogi hitting the triple in the corner as the Caribou are trying to get back into this game. And take a look at Shaquille Harrison here. Gets the ball poked out, and then as time is expiring on the shot clock, somehow knocks that one down. So move things on later in the corner. Chris Dunn's going to miss that wide open three. Board goes to Hart. So he sees Farrell on the fast break, who's going to oop it to Danilo Gallinari, the left-handed slam on the fast break. That's where this team shines, is running the floor, especially when Yogi Ferrell is the one running it, because he is very, very fast. Here, Thaddeus Young is stripped as he tries to drive. Once again, Yogi Ferrell on the break, sees the cutting Manimal, who throws it down. Fareed, the New Jersey native, the oop on the fast break. Take a look at that one. And then we move things on later. Caribou still cutting away at that Bulls lead. Harrison pulls up from the paint. Miss. Board goes to Bell. Here's Grayson Allen in transition. Also pretty good at running in transition as he throws that one down on the fast break. Take a look at that one, the former Duke Blue Devil. So move things on later in the corner. Allen gonna feed it down low to Fareed, working on Wendell Carter Jr. up and under the basket. What a move from Fareed there. Working on the pretty good center, Wendell Carter Jr., as far as I'm aware. And then Kobe White here, just driving past Yogi Ferrell, throwing it down. Some of the best hair in the league is what Kobe White has. As then Grayson Allen being cornered there, as he's going to eventually swing it around, find Michael Porter Jr. top of the key, knocks down the triple. So 2-point game here. Harrison driving to the lane. Great defense by Grayson Allen. Also grabs the board. He's now running in transition. Oops it up to Michael Porter Jr., who throws it down on the oop in transition. Once again, another fast break score for this team. So now Thomas Satoransky ball handling for the Bulls, as he's guarded by Grayson Allen, intercepted by Amari Spellman, and he's going to find the cutting Jordan Bell in transition. Grayson Allen is, and then Bell lays it in. So at the end of one half of play, it's going to be a Caribou 2-point lead, 57-55. Second half action now, as Josh Hart's going to be running the offense here. Finds Yogi Ferrell in the corner. Got a screen, and he knocks down the triple. So a 1-point lead for the Caribou. Yogi is stripped there by Chris Dunn as he gets the steal, runs in transition, finds Porter, who's not going to make it. Rebound goes to Michael Porter. And then Yogi Ferrell on the fast break, once again laying it in. Too fast for everybody. Gets himself another point. Yogi gets a screen there from Fareed, and he rolls it in on the pick and roll, as that's a 5-point lead now for the Caribou. 6-point lead after the and one. How about some more Vincent Poirier backing down Wendell Carter Jr.? Another left-handed hook shot for the French Hammer, as it's now an 8-point lead for the Caribou. Yogi Ferrell swings into the corner for Gallinari, misses, but some second chance points after the offensive board from Poirier, as you saw there. So later on in the quarter, Tadosic running the offense, calls a play for Kyle Korver, but it's going to be intercepted or stolen by Markkanen. And then Thaddeus Young in transition lays it in with the left hand as the Bulls are starting to get back into this one. Tadosic, actually, I don't think that was Tadosic. Somebody's pass was stolen there. Bulls running in transition. Satoransky finds Kobe White, lays it in, ties the game up at 71. It's 81-78, 3-point lead here for the Bulls, but Teodosic stepping back on the wing, draining the triple, tying the game at 81. So Satoransky bringing the ball up the floor off the inbound for the Bulls, finds the cutting Kobe White, rejected by Teodosic on the defensive end. The second chance layup does not go either, but then Spellman chucks it down the floor, and just, that's going to be Bulls ball, so no chance to take the lead for the Caribou. So at the end of 3 quarters, it's all knotted up at 81 here at the Bell Center. Fourth quarter time, this is for all the marbles. We're still all knotted up at 83 as the Bulls are stripped there. Michael Porter Jr. sees Yogi Ferrell, transition 3, but Gallinari comes flying out of nowhere to grab the offensive board for the second chance points. So Otto Porter, here is trying to get a layup to go. He misses. A board is grabbed by Michael Porter Jr., and then it's going to be the Caribou in transition. Another fast break layup for Yogi Ferrell. Too fast for the Bulls as Chris Dunn working on Yogi Ferrell here. Step back mid-range, miss. Rebound by Josh Hart, and then once again, Yogi Ferrell, too fast for the Bulls. Contact layup in transition, gets it to fall as the Bulls are just extending their lead here as that bucket put Yogi Ferrell with 20 points on the day. Another miss from the Bulls here. Yogi Ferrell doing his thing in transition on the fast break, and he's going to oop it to Kenneth Faried, throws it down. Later on in the quarter, about 3:30 left, Michael Porter Jr. shooting his second free throw. Here misses, boards grabbed by Carter of the Bulls. So Chris Dunn bringing it up the floor, finds the cutting Markkanen, gets the contact layup to fall, and one. He would make it. So it's a 3-point play, so the Bulls are definitely not out of this game. Chris Dunn ball handling, sees Markkanen wide open at 3, misses, board is grabbed by Faried, and then Yogi Ferrell running the break again. How about the oop to Michael Porter Jr.? Gets it to fall, not quite a slam, but still sexy nonetheless, gets it to fall. So a 2-point game here. Shaquille Harrison, open on the wing, breaks the 3, Yogi grabs the board, and now he's off to the races. Sees the man cutting, it's Danilo Gallinari throwing that one down as it's now a 4-point lead for the Caribou. Less than a minute left in this game. Otto Porter sees a man open, 3 in the corner. It's Shaquille Harrison. He misses. Board grabbed by Faried, and then Yogi Ferrell once again on the fast break. He's being double-teamed, and he's eventually going to swing this one over to the other side. Josh Hart, a deep 3, misses, but Faried's there for the second chance points, and that would pretty much be the dagger in this game for the Bulls, as the Quebec Caribou come out on top over the Chicago Bulls by a score of 114-107. I am aware that the Bulls are not one of the best teams in the league, but still an impressive win nonetheless for the Caribou, especially missing someone like Hassan Whiteside. Yogi Ferrell definitely showed that he is a very exciting player on this team. Not quite good defensively, but definitely good on the fast break and just on offense in general. Can definitely score in this league. He had 20 points on the day with 12 assists, also 2 boards, 7 for 15 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 4 for 5 from the line. And Kenneth Faried had himself a double-double as well, 15 points, 17 rebounds for the Manimal. And how about Grayson Allen? He's been a pretty productive player for me off the bench. Had 15 points in that game, 2 boards, 4 assists, 5 for 7 from the field. While on the Bulls side of things, they definitely were missing their main scorer in Zach LaVine, as he has been pretty cracked so far in the season, as he is one of the top scorers in the NBA, but they did pick up a double-double from both Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen with points and rebounds, while Shaquille Harrison did do a pretty decent job of filling in at the 2 with 18 points on the day. He was all over the stat sheet with 4 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals as well. And then you take a look at the team comparison, and once again, the thing that stands out to me is the fact that we had so many turnovers. 14 points for 14 turnovers for us, only 7 for them, and they had 16 points off of our turnovers, which is just not what you like to see. We turn the ball over way too much. That is not like a team thing that the team does. That is just me being an idiot half the times with the ball. And now we move a bit later on into the month of December. Not too far, though. There have been 4 games played since that last win against the Bulls. We lost all of them. Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Wizards, all respectively have beaten us. We got absolutely mollywopped by that LA Clippers team. And next up on the schedule is the Toronto Raptors, the first meeting between the two Canadian teams in the NBA. I would ideally like this to become a pretty fierce rivalry throughout the league, as we are the two Canadian teams, and it just makes a lot of sense. I don't currently have like a creative name for the rivalry. I was just usual, like, the Battle of Canada, or like the Clash for Canada, or like the War in the North, or something like that. It's actually kind of cool, the War in the North. Might roll with that one, but let me know what you guys think. If you have any ideas for a creative name for what we should call the future Raps Caribou rivalry. And the Raptors are currently on a 3-game losing skid, and they are definitely going to be looking to change that as they head to Quebec. And we are currently on a 4-game losing streak, but it is worth noting that for whatever reason, our team is very good at home. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure we already have like an A- court advantage, which is just wild for an expansion team, at least I'm pretty sure. Whatever it is, the Bell Center is just like a great place to play at home for whatever reason, and our record at home is much better than it is on the road, so definitely have a chance going into this game, but they are the Raptors. And as you may have noticed on that screen, we are going to be playing without Danilo Gallinari tonight, and for the rest of the season, as in those 4 games that happened between this game and the Bulls game, he suffered a spinal injury, and he's going to be out for many months. So Danilo Gallinari, it was fun having you on the team for as long as we did, but I doubt he's back for next season, as he's probably not going to be back for next season. But anyways, that's 2 of our top 3 scorers out now for a significant period of time. Whiteside will eventually be back, probably throughout the rest of the season, because I doubt we're going to be able to trade his contract. But he's not out for the entire season. He will be back, actually kind of semi-soon. It might even be like next episode that he's back. And the Raps are without a player as well as OG Anunoby. I think I'm saying that? I don't know how to say his name. All I know is he wears short shorts and he has a pulled right calf muscle. He will not be playing in this game. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about this, but here are the league leaders throughout the NBA in the main categories like points and all that stuff, if you care about looking at that stuff. But now we are at the Bell Center once again, the Quebec Caribou taking on the Toronto Raptors here at home, the first matchup of these two Canadian teams. There you have the new look Caribou 1-5 with Amari Spellman starting at the 4 in the absence of Danilo Gallinari. Why can't I think of his name? As the tip is going to go to the Raptors as Gasol wins it. Ball goes back to Lowry, bringing it up the court. Working on Farrell. Hits him with a crossover, setting up the play, calls for a screen. He's going to hit a fadeaway 3 to start the game, to start this rivalry. So then, 3-point lead for the Raptors is then Spellman scoring the first points of the game for the Caribou as he lays that one in on the pick and roll. And then how about Pascal Siakam with the under-the-hoop reverse layup? Very nice from Siakam. It's a 5-2 game, 1-point lead now for the Raptors as Lowry misses that layup, and then Yogi Ferrell is going to grab himself a board, and now he's running the floor. He's going to the hoop, laying it up, or lobbing it up for Amari Spellman, who throws it down. He's already got 2 buckets on the day in his first start with the Caribou. As Fred VanVleet now is going to try to drive across the paint, but instead he's going to dribble it right into a Caribou player, so they're on the fast break now, and Michael Porter Jr. throwing that one down. Then off the inbound, here comes Kyle Lowry and the Raptors being guarded by Farrell. Lowry's just going to have no problem with him, steps back at 3, and drains it. Kyle Lowry gives his team a 2-point lead. 4-point lead now as Fred VanVleet's going to dribble this one back up to the 3-point line, finds Lowry, hits another fadeaway 3 as he was insane in this game, as we will see as this game progresses. So the Raptors definitely took a pretty big lead in the first quarter, but Kyle Korver trying to get his team back into it, hitting that top of the key 3, and then Tadosic getting a screen, and not a swish, but he does hit the 3 there. As at the end of 1 quarter of play, it's going to be a 10-point lead for the Raptors over the Caribou, 37-27. So the Caribou here in the second are going to have to try to come back from a big deficit, but they're going to start things off the pick and roll. Chris Boucher throwing it down. The man raised in Quebec, former Oregon Duck. I'm going to have to get rid of those sleeves because I'm not really sure that he has those in real life. But Fred VanVleet gets stripped here, picks it back up, then tries to score in traffic, but he's rejected by Jordan Bell, playing defense as he does, and then Yogi Ferrell on the fast break, laying it in as he does. So they move things on later in the corner as the Caribou are currently just chucking away at this lead for the Raptors, and Chris Boucher showing off some post moves, gets that one to fall. I believe he was the G League Player of the Year last year in real life, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure. But Siakam here being guarded by Boucher and Porter Jr. as he misses. A board goes to Porter Jr. He throws it up to Ferrell on the fast break. Once again, another layup for him. Move things on. It's a 1-point game now. Yogi, top of the key, drains it. It's a 2-point lead for the Caribou. They have battled all the way back, and Yogi is hyped. The man knows how to score. So it's a 2-point lead as the Raptors need a timeout. 1-point lead now later on, less than a minute left in this quarter, as Grayson Allen's running in transition. He sees the French hammer. Soft touch on the left-handed layup. It's a 3-point lead for the Caribou heading into halftime. 53-50 is the score. Move things on to the second half now. Kyle Lowry driving to the lane, rejected by Amari Spellman, and now here come the Caribou. Ferrell running the fast break as he does. He's going to be double-teamed at the top of the key, but he finds Spellman down in the paint, and he's going to get the block on one end and the score on the other end. Move things on later in the quarter. On the mass confusion off the inbound, it's going to be Jordan Bell laying it in. And so here come the Raptors. Fred VanVleet running it up the floor. He's just going to sprint around at the top of the three-point line like he's playing park. And he's going to miss the mid-range. Board goes to Josh Hart. He sees Ferrell running the fast break as he does. Another fast break layup for Yogi Ferrell, the former Indiana Hoosier. As they just keep extending their lead here in the third quarter, Ferrell picks up a dime there as he sees Michael Porter Jr. at 3 wide open, hits the 3 for a 10-point lead. Later on in the corner, Siakam trying to drive on Bell, nothing going. Great defense from Jordan Bell, grabs the board as well. Teodosic in transition, sees the cutting Josh Hart, contact layup, and one. As they really exploded in this quarter, but the Raptors did try to get back into it, but not here though. Siakam driving on Bell. This time he's blocked by Jordan Bell, and here come the Caribou. Josh Hart at the wing, waiting for a man to cut. It's going to be Jordan Bell. Block on one end, post up Siakam on the other end, hits the fadeaway over him. Jordan Bell having a great quarter. So about a minute 50 in the third quarter now. Raptors do eventually get back into it, as there they hit a 3 to make it a 5-point lead only, as they were on a 12-2 run there. And the third quarter would end with the Raptors cutting down that lead to 4, as it's a 78-74 lead for the Quebec Caribou. Fourth quarter time now, Yogi Ferrell being swarmed at three-point line, double-teamed. Kyle Lowry gets the steal. He's going in transition. Layup gives his team the lead. It's now tied at 80 in this game. Powell finds Ibaka down under the hoop. First try, nothing going. Second try, draws the foul. That's an and one. 3-point lead for the Raptors. Now we moved things on a little bit later. 87-84 is the score. And this was the Kyle Lowry quarter. He was just dominant in this fourth quarter, as there you see he hits a triple in the corner. Makes it a double-digit lead for the Raptors. He was just unstoppable. We had no answer for him. We played pretty well for most of the game, but I mean, he's just unstoppable. There you see Yogi running the fast break. Michael Porter Jr. with the very, very, very pretty alley-oop. But just anytime we did anything, Kyle Lowry would go down on the other end and just either do the same thing or just one-up us. As here he just drives past Ferrell and floats it in to the hoop. So once again, 8-point lead here, about 5 minutes left. Another floater from Kyle Lowry. He's just dominant at this point, unstoppable. Here he picks up a screen, gets past everybody, left-handed layup, easy buckets for Kyle Lowry, and then every time we try to do something, we tried to keep getting back into it, but we just were missing a lot of shots, or we just weren't able to make any stops on the defensive end as Lowry would just score every time, as there you see we missed a three, and then Lowry goes down on the transition and gets the assist from Stanley Johnson, so this game was just a lost cause once he went off into the fourth quarter. The Raptors win the first game, the first meeting between these two Canadian teams. 116-105 is your final score. Raptors take it. And Kyle Lowry was pretty much their entire offense. He had 43 points on the night. He was 16 for 36 from the field, 7 for 15 from 3. Never even went to the free throw line. Pascal Siakam had 20 points in the day as well, also 8 boards. Marc Gasol had a double-double, but Kyle Lowry was the real story for the Raptors. While on the Caribou side of things, Amari Spellman picks up a double-double in his first game as a starter. He had 24 points, 10 boards, 2 assists, also 1 block on the day. 8 for 16 from the field, I believe that says. It's a very small preview screen for me. Yogi Ferrell would have been a very impressive day if he wasn't giving up all those points on the defensive end to Kyle Lowry, but very impressive offensively. 16 points, 16 assists, 3 boards, 1 steal, 7 for 10 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. He did have 5 turnovers though, so that is something you would like to see get toned down a bit. As once again, we had a bunch of turnovers, they had a bunch of points off our turnovers. That was also one of our downfalls in this game. As usual, even in wins, we have a lot of turnovers. As I literally say every single game at this point, I just turn the ball over a lot, working on it, but it's just something that I'm still just learning how to avoid. Just don't pass it to the other team, Jersey. But with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Quebec Caribou MyLeague here on NBA 2K20. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying goodbye.
Oh, this you crazy mother...